This is one of the best zoom lenses that I've ever used. And in this video, I will explain why I think this is a must-have Sony lens and why I think this could be the best street photography lens for a Sony system. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, more on them later on, and let's go for a quick walk in Tokyo. Let's start with the main selling point of this lens, and it's the fact that it's reversed. So a normal zoom will start at 24 and zoom into 70 or 50 or 100 or whatever. This lens, however, starts on the telephoto end and then you zoom out into 24, meaning that the lens extends as you zoom out instead of zooming in. On top of that, the amount that the lens extends by is very small, between 50 and 35, and the majority of that extension happens after 35 and into 24mm. What this means is if you mostly shoot between 35 and 50mm, the lens doesn't change all that much. In terms of the overall footprint, when the lens is collapsed, it's incredibly small. It's on par and actually smaller than a lot of the Sony f1.4 primes. When it's extended, of course, it does come out a little bit. However, because it's so light, you don't really feel it on the front end. This means that this lens is very suitable for smaller cameras like the A7C II and is not exclusive for the bigger bodies. Now, some people might be wondering, what does all this have to do with street photography? Most street photographers primarily shoot between 24, 28 and 50mm. Some go either side of that, but it's not very often. This lens gives you all of those focal lengths, but in one small package. Furthermore, if you're like me and most of your street photography happens at 50mm, well, effectively you just have a prime, but a prime that can zoom out if you need to. Now, if you're using a high megapixel camera, you can always crop in if you need to get closer, but you can't crop out. Whereas with this, you can zoom out if you need to. What this effectively means is you have a full-on zoom lens in the size of a prime that behaves like a prime. Let's talk about a few external features. You have an aperture ring, obviously your zoom ring, your focus ring. You have a custom button right here, which I personally use for manual focus hold. So if I press and hold it and then turn the manual focus dial, I can adjust the manual focus and then let go, and then it goes back to autofocus. You have the AF/MF switch, but I wish it was a little bit more pronounced because it can be quite difficult to just grab it at times. And I wish there was a second one of these buttons on top instead of the label, which no one needs. Some lenses have two of these buttons, and what it means is if you're shooting in portrait orientation, you don't need to move your hand around in order to reach that button. What else have we got? We have a click and de-click thing. If you're doing video, you need to do smooth aperture adjustments. You have weather sealing. And I mean, other than that, it's a pretty standard lens. Image quality is fantastic, but of course it would be. All modern cameras and all modern lenses produce good images. There's nothing in particular good or bad to say. It's a very good image, sharp, everything is as it really should be at all aperture values. That's all I can say. I mean, you've seen the photos, you've seen the video footage. There's not much to say without zooming in, looking at charts and doing all that kind of stuff, which I'm not qualified to do. The autofocus is bang on, but it's a Sony, to be expected, and the overall build feels pretty good, but time will tell. I've only had this lens for a few months, so give me another year or two and then there'll be a long-term blog covering build quality, how it scratches, how weather resistant it is, that kind of stuff. Now let's summarize the video and talk about whether this lens is right for you, because as great as it is, it's not for everyone. If most of your photography is around 50mm plus or minus, this will be a good option. However, if you mostly shoot between 24, 28 and up to 35mm, I would say a traditional zoom like a 24 to 70 that starts at 24 and the wider end will be more suitable because it will save you time. If you mostly shoot at 28, and every time you go to use this lens, you have to effectively zoom in and extend it, which will delay your reaction time between you seeing a photo and taking it. Whereas if you mostly shoot at 50, then that reaction time will slow down because it effectively acts like a prime and you don't have to zoom into 50. If you mostly shoot in cities, then having 24 to 50 is a good focal range, to be honest, for most urban environments. However, if your photography is more on the travel side, especially involving nature, hiking, and all that, having that extra reach to 70 or 100, depending on the lens, does make a huge difference, especially if you physically can't get closer to a subject, like a giant mountain. Something to keep in mind. At f2.8, low light performance might not be all that, but this is more of a general zoom issue. It's not unique to this lens. If you're mostly going to be shooting at night and going for something a little faster like a prime or even that crazy f2 zoom, might be something that you'd need to do. And last but not least, this lens might just not be for everyone. I know people who've used it and then went back to a normal lens. Just because it's different or it's unique doesn't make it special. Just because an internet nobody like me uses it also doesn't make it special. So I hope you found this video useful. Everything I've shared is based on my experience. I've owned this lens since, November? Yeah, I think November, time flies. Anyway, so it's all based on my experience. Of course, your experience might be different. If you found it useful, please leave your comments below. If you have any questions, please leave them below as well. I'll try to get back to everyone, but whilst traveling, it can be quite tricky. Anyway, thank you one more time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. I'd like to take a moment and thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. It's never been easier to start your own business, blog or YouTube channel, and turn your hobby into an income. Squarespace offers the perfect all-in-one solution that is designed to take the headache and hassle out of the entire process. First and foremost, this is your website where you can showcase your product or service in a clean and professional way. Secondly, this is your online store where you can sell your products and services with powerful tools built in. Thirdly, this is your blog where you can write about your industry, therefore increase Google ranking. And there are many other built-in tools that allow you to create members areas, send newsletters, schedule appointments, and much more. Finally, this is all available on your laptop or in your pocket. Add powerful analytics and you have an ideal all-in-one package to run your business. For a free trial followed by 10% off your first purchase, please use the link in the description or use code RomanFox when you check out. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.